long. We're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Crystal Diaries. This is the first of many podcast, videocast, Crystal Cast. Decided to call it Crystal Cast. And Samantha Clay is joining us from House of Soul Healing from Adelaide. Hi, Sam.
Hi. Hi, Simon. Hi, everyone.
No one's jumped on yet, but actually they might have, and I can't tell. It's a little bit slow. StreamYard's a little bit slow. Oh, there you go. 5 people just hopped on. I'm going to switch the comments on. I'm a little bit techie retarded. So, hey, Marion. So we're just going to jump on, and we're going to talk about. I wanted to talk to Sam. I wanted to talk to you about your journey with crystals. Yeah, well, let's just have a chat, and we're going to chat about crystal grids tonight too. But how long have you been involved in crystals, in playing with crystals? Hey, Joshua.
In playing with crystals, probably, I would say about 15 to 16 years. I was a bit of a late bloomer. I'd had them like when I was younger, but never understood them, never valued them. They were just like these pretty rocks. But yeah, probably about 15 years ago, I started to really invest in them and work with them and self-taught, then started doing crystal workshops and just went from there.
Oh, cool. So what was your first favorite crystal?
Well, I'm probably going to go with amethyst, to be honest. Someone gifted me an amethyst, and it was at a time when I was a little bit low. I'd started on a healing journey, but I had never integrated the healing and the crystals together. So I started working with this amethyst crystal, and then the amethyst just became one of many. I still have the original amethyst crystal locked away in the cabinet. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then the collection just grew, and then I had this amazing wholesaler called Simon who would fulfill all the crystal needs.
That's awesome. I think my first crystal, actually, you know what? When I was a little kid, I remember someone bringing another one. I think I must have been like 8 or 9 years old, and some kid brought a big piece of sandstone, the orange sandstone. Goldstone, sorry, not sandstone. And I stole it when I was a little kid. I was so drawn to it. I was like, there's something amazing about this thing, so I stole it. It was a big chunk. But yeah, I remember, I think my first one when I started getting into crystals after I'd done Reiki was bloodstone. And I was like sitting there holding it in my hand, and I was like raking it, and then it just started like burning my hand. And the crystal, like just where it was like burning my hand. And that was my first experience with energy, where I was like, oh, it was like so intense. And I was just going, and I was just like, what the? And I've like run screaming to my mum. I think I was like 18 or something though. And I was like, wow, this crystal's like burning my hand. I was like, feel it. And she's like, what are you talking about? So yeah, that was my first.
That's a really unusual first experience sort of thing, isn't it? Like a bloodstone crystal. Do you know what I mean? Like people, generally it's your rose quartz, it's your amethyst, it's your clear quartz, smoky, but bloodstone. Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Hey, I've had some crystals have been pretty amazing contribution in my life too. They've, I've created a whole friggin' business, and I just walked into my 2 sheds full of crystals today. And
I saw you unpacking today.
Yeah. I had to stop because I was just exhausted. I unpacked like 4 boxes, and I've got 20 boxes. So I was
very excited for when you come to Adelaide.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually really excited. So yeah, what was tell us more about like your crystal journey with it all, and like what got you into crystals, and why do you keep playing with them? Like, what do you love about crystals?
Okay, so essentially, like I said, I was on the healing journey, and I was actually at a Doreen Virtue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like back in Coolum, like probably about 15, 16 years ago. And I had some crystals then, and there was other people that had crystals, and I started getting a little bit intrigued. And that's when I kind of stumbled across Rochelle Shaman. So I got chatting to her. She said she taught crystals the month after I was in Sydney, and I was learning the basic level of crystals. And that was then like how to, like your chakra crystals, and to sit and to meditate with them, and to see what feelings came up, and how it made you feel inside. And that was it. I was hooked. So from then, the crystal collection just started. I went to every workshop I possibly could. I repeated every workshop, and then I kept repeating and then repeating and repeating. And she kept saying to me, be a teacher. And I was like, no, I just like coming and doing the crystal healings. But now I do teach it. I've been teaching it for, well, I reckon about 4 or 5 years, and I love it. Love it. I love seeing people play with crystals that don't, they're like us, they're intrigued, but they don't know the benefits, they don't know how to use them, and they come along to these workshops and they leave and their mind is just blown. And that's
so cool.
I really get a rush out of it. And the whole voodoo thing is well and truly gone as far as crystals now. Like, it's such a proven fact that crystals will amplify the energy. Surgeons have them in their tools. We have them in our watches, in our phones, in our cars.
Yeah, old radios were working on quartz, and I think they still do now. My watch might have quartz in it. I have no idea.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a proven fact now. So, and like crystals, yourself, crystals have been around forever. The Aboriginals used them, the Egyptians used them, the Mayans used them. So it's a medicine. It's decorative. It's medicine. It's everything. Crystal essence, you can have it. So it goes on.
Yeah. We sorry, ADHD brain. My brain went to.
No, that's okay. I was just thinking I should shut up because you got me on a ramble with crystals.
No, that's great. That's no, I was just like, when you started talking about, like the Egyptians used it, and I was like, yeah, they used to crush it up. They used to crush it up and use it for makeup. They used to, and there's actually, like, if you want to go to the scientific side of things, there's a lot of scientific information out there. The Russians are putting out a lot of information about shungite and their properties with EMF, with energy and stuff like that. They've written like books and books and books on shungite. That's really fascinating. It's funny, when you meet Russians, they're always like looking for shungite. So
seen the clear quartz that they grow in the labs?
Yeah, have I seen them?
Yeah. I've actually got a couple. They're unusual.
Yeah. The Chinese they're pretty amazing. They can replicate everything. They replicate moldavite. They do it. And it's funny too, because as a buyer too, you actually find out that stuff is more expensive. The man-made stuff. I was in Arkansas in 2019, going to, for anyone out there, if you look up Arkansas quartz on YouTube, it's some of the best clear quartz that comes out in the world. It's so clear, and they just pull out these big chunks out of the clay. And I was over there just sourcing some crystals, and we met a lady who was selling emeralds from Colombia, and she said that the fake emeralds that a man made are more expensive than the actual natural ones that come out of the ground. So it's pretty amazing what they can copy and what they can do.
Yeah, it's quite sad though that there is so many fake crystals getting around as well, though.
Yeah, well, I think it teaches people really to educate yourself, but also like to trust your own awareness, and to like learn. Hey, Sky. Hey, everyone that's saying hi. It's really learning to actually trust your own awareness, and to like get the sense of what it's like to play with different crystals. Because it's funny, I can look at it over from the screen and I'll just go, I know that's fake. I can feel that. It's like when I do it, I just energetically go into the crystal and I'm like, is this alive or is it dead? And a lot of the man-made ones, they tend to not have as much life in them. But we're all man-made too, so.
And the other one that I'm not really a big fan of is like dyeing them.
Yeah.
it doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah. Some people it does, some people it doesn't. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, exactly.
So we wanted to talk to people about crystal grids and so can you tell me so tell me from your point of view what's a crystal grid? How do you use it? Well, let's go with what's a crystal grid.
Okay, so to me, my perception of crystal grid is I generally use 6 clear quartz or even smoky quartz, big crystals, and I do the Star of David. Okay,
oh, cool.
So I have my crystal in the middle so to rewind, I create a grid around something that I want to manifest. Or if I'm feeling that, there needs to be a bit of love in the house or more communication in the lounge room, I'll create one around communication. Generally over there in the altar, I've got whatever I'm working on and what I'm manifesting. At the moment, I've got a great big citrine cave in there. I'm working on abundance. So, and that's not just a monetary value, that's just an abundance in a lot of areas of my life at the moment that I'm trying to create and work with. So I pop that in the middle and then I put the 6 clear quartz crystals around it. And then I use another quartz and I will connect the points up together to create a grid. And I do a little bit of a ceremony around it as well. Obviously bring in my guides, etc., and make it a proper ceremony.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, I mean, grids, you can use them absolutely anywhere. So you can have really small grids. If your space only allows a very small grid, you can still have one. You can have one as big as you want or as small as you want. I use one in my healing room. Obviously, I've got one here. You can use them in and around your home. You can put one under your bed, in your bedroom if you need to, in your veggie patch. Clear quartz in a veggie patch is amazing.
Crystals plants love crystals.
Yeah, absolutely. Vision boards, whatever you feel that you are drawn to, you can absolutely use a grid for it.
Yeah. And can I ask, so how have you noticed, how has the grids helped you with like creating what you wanted to create with them and manifesting?
Very well. Very well. A lot of it, of course, is with intention as well. So you're putting that intention out there. The crystals obviously are going to amplify the energy that you are creating and working with. But before I go and stick a crystal in the middle of a grid, I will work with that crystal for quite a while. So I get to know that crystal. I know its properties. I mean, you might have hypothetically 10 amethysts and you might just presume that they all work the same, but every crystal is unique and different. So I will work with that crystal for a good month. I'll carry it on me, sleep with it, just generally work with it, hold it every day before I pop it into a grid or before I make an essence. But this one here was created because I wanted to finally resign from my job. And I resigned from my job. I created the grid. I resigned from my job, and everything has just gone boom. It's amazing. Cool. Yeah, I'm not concerned about giving up the income as such every week that I've always held on to. It's helped me let go of my fear. It's helped me in my darkest hours, to sit with these crystals in this grid and work through a lot of stuff.
That's really cool. That's super cool. I used to, sorry, my brain went to another 300 places where I was like, there is a really cool, I'm going to suggest, if you guys are going to watch this on YouTube afterwards, I've got a really cool, video that I did. It's called, I think it's manifesting wealth or manifesting money. And it's a little energetic thing that we do. And my wife and I do this all the freaking time. We use that meditation all the time, and we have like some magic show up that's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I won't go into it because I could talk about it for hours and hours, but it's a really cool tool. And it just reminded me too when I think it was like 10 10 years ago, I used to go down to the beach every day. I lived in Byron Bay for 8 years or something, 6 or 8 years, and I used to go down the beach every day, and I'd take like an esky, a big esky full of crystals, and I'd have like these clear quartz generators that were like this big, like massive ones the length of my arm, and then just set up this massive crystal grid around me and just meditate in there for like 2 hours or something. And it was so awesome. I used to enjoy it so much. It just brought me a sense of peace and a sense of space that was really cool. So, yeah.
And you can definitely feel the energy coming off the crystals as well when you create your grid, right?
Yeah.
Like when we learn it in level 1, I get everybody to partner up and share and take turns in making grids, and it's just incredible. I mean, you can use grids to charge crystals with as well. There's endless opportunities for why you can create a grid. And another good thing as well is if I know somebody's unwell, I will pop them in a grid as well, like a photo or whatever, to be able to send distant healing, so it will create that healing flow for them as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I completely forgot what I was going to say. So it's the ADHD brain. It's just like, that's that idea, and then it just goes, pew. I'm like, okay, there's the next one. No, it's completely left my brain. It's left my world. Yeah, no, I have absolutely nothing. Oh yeah,
nothing.
That's right. Thank you. Came back. So do you have any classes coming up? Do you have any crystal healing classes coming up?
I do. In this month, actually, on the 21st, we've got another level 1 foundation workshop, which will be held at the House of Soul Healing in Gawler, and then I've got a level 2 in May. So I'm running level 1s probably every couple of months, and every time we sort of advertise it, we sort of, to allow for COVID at the moment, we're only allowing 10 in there comfortably, and they're booking out. So many more people are, with everything I think that's happened, so many more people are reaching out and are looking for something. Do you know what I mean? Like they're searching, and they're really researching, and they're understanding, and they're actually coming, some with some knowledge, some with none. I had one lady whose house is pretty much full of crystals. She loves crystals, has been collecting them for years. The photos she showed me, and she's picking them up like at garage sales and places like that. And I'm drooling, but she doesn't know why she's collecting them, what she's doing with them. So she's done level 1 and she's booked in for level 2. So it's amazing.
That's really the gift in like working with crystals too. It's really funny. I joined a Facebook group recently, and this lady was like, what's this crystal? I bought this crystal, and it was a gemmy piece of tourmaline, and then like showing these gemmy pieces, and she had no idea what it was, but she was just like, I love this. I don't know what it is. I just have to have it in my life. And she just followed that energy, and that's really cool. It's that really, that's the way we kind of want to live our lives too. Is like, what is this? I don't know what this is, but I just want more of this kind of thing. So
I find when over the 15 years, I haven't always solidly practiced and worked with the crystals. Like you have your moments where you get sidetracked, life takes over, work takes over, whatever. But I always get to that point where I know that I'm starting to not function. I bring my crystals back into my life and everything falls into place. Like I packed up the grid a few weeks ago to do a workshop, and I'd packed it up a couple of days earlier to take some of the bigger crystals up to the shop. And my life was just kind of like chaotic, and I was scattered because I didn't have my big grid here. If I don't create my grid in this house, or if I'm moving house and I pack it up, I do tend to fall apart. I'll be honest.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of too? I remember years ago I met this girl who used to grid her body. So what she would do is she'd wear a crystal bracelet on her ankles, and then like wear something around her neck. So she would be like carrying grid on.
I love that.
I was like, that's really cool. That was a really
I
cool
love
energy.
that.
So, yeah.
See, that's where women have the advantage because we've always got them stuck in our bras.
Yeah, exactly. We can put them in our. Well, no, I shouldn't have said that out loud. Cool. Is there anything else that you? I mean, like with crystal grids and stuff, there's so many. Like you said, there's so many different uses for them. That like that's the thing you can. And the thing is like when you're creating a grid. So how do you create the grid? Do you have an idea of what you should be putting in there? Or do you just intuitively go crystals? Which ones would like to be in here? How do you put your grids together?
Depending on what grid I'm creating, I always, when there's a new moon as well, I'll do a grid around that, and I actually will literally write down my intentions for the next month, and I'll pop that under the center crystal that's going in the middle of the grid. So it will depend, like if I'm, like I said, like at the moment I'm creating and working on abundance. So I knew that I was going to obviously pop citrine in there, with citrine being all about abundance, etc. So at the moment I've only got the one moon.
Actually, yeah. Can you tell us what other crystals do you have? So you've set up. Because I can feel that people's worlds will be like, what else would I put for abundance and stuff? So you've got an abundance grid there. What else have you got in there besides citrine? You don't have to show it, but just run through. What would you? Well, if you want to.
Well, we're almost there. Yeah. So that's my anchor point. That's my main crystal. And then I've got my other 6 clear quartz. Can you see them around it?
Yep. Yes.
Yep. But I actually don't have any other crystal in there at the moment. But if I was working on love or whatever, I'd probably put some rhodochrosite, rhodonite in there, and then have rose quartz around it as well. So you can put as many crystals in this as you want, or as less, as long as you've got that one main crystal and then you've got your clear quartz around it. So as I said, you can have as many or as little as you want. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I don't buy the ones that are sort of pre-made. I like to make my own grid. You know, there's all these ones going out for sale now that they look beautiful, but I change what I'm working on all the time.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can you think of anything else that you want to share about it? I'm like, yeah.
Pretty much. Well, you know what? If there's something that I do want to manifest in my life, or if I'm going for a job, or if I want something to have the outcome that I want, like I said, I'll pop that in there as well. But I use grids, anything and everything. I will make crystal essences or even my sprays, and then I'll pop them in the grid as well for a little while before I then start using them or start selling them, whatever I'm doing with them. Everything and anything pretty much goes in a grid.
Yeah. Awesome. Does anyone have any questions out there for Sam about grids, or you're welcome to pop it in the chat? I can't think of anything else right now that's actually, you know what I do want to ask you is, how do you activate your grid? So with activating
so I use a laser or either a laser or a clear quartz, and like I said, I will start at the top of the star and I will connect it into the middle one, then back out and then around to the side, then to the next one. While I'm doing it, I will say a mantra. So you can make up your own mantra, but for me, I've got a set mantra that I say every time, and I say it as I connect the lines up. So I connect it all the way through, and once it's done all the way through, then I just spiral it off the top. But again, as I said, I do it as ceremony as well. So I've called in my guides. Like, it's not just I'm just going to throw some crystals together. Like I do it with intent.
Yeah. That's awesome. And also, just to let people know too, so Sam's going to be doing a meditation night in our for our Adelaide pop-up shop. So it's going to be a room jam-packed full of crystals. Today, you know what's funny? For the past few months, because I've been in UK in lockdown, and I was like, I don't have that many crystals. I'm like, what am I going to do? And then I get here and I'm like, I'm going, holy shit, I have so much stuff. So it's going to be really cool just to experience what it would be like to meditate in a room full of crystals. So we're doing that on Wednesday night, which is the second night from 7 p.m. Yeah.
Buzzing.
That room already, like when we set it up with all those crystals, it just vibrates like a.
I've got goosebumps just thinking about it. Seriously, I cannot wait. It's been so long, and I was actually talking about the crystal meditation of maybe even just talking about maybe the 7 main chakras, the crystals, maybe bringing in the crystal divas, getting them to journey. We'll see. We'll talk about it beforehand.
Yeah. Will follow the energy. So Leanne's written, Sam, when you change your grid, and when do you change your grid? Anytime or every month?
So depending on what the grid is for. So if it's one that I do for the new moon, that my intention is for that until the new moon finishes. So then the next new moon, I will pack down my grid, sage, cleanse, whatever, and then reset the grid and start again. If I need to do one for any particular reason, I'll do it until I think that the desired outcome has happened, and then I will just thank the universe, thank my crystals for what they've done, pack them up, sage them, and then go again. So there's no right or wrong time when to pack it up. I don't think you'll know intuitively.
Yeah. I would agree. I would just be like, okay, now it's done. It could be like 5 minutes, and then you're like, whoa, got the energy.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that'll do for today. Thank you for joining me. This has been cool.
Thanks for having me, Simon. It's so good to see you back on Australian soil.
Yeah.
However long we've got you, but I'm so excited for April.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we're doing a pop-up shop. For those of you that don't know, we're doing a pop-up shop. Starts on the 20th of April in Adelaide, in Brighton. So you guys are more than welcome. It's free entry, and we have a lot of crystals to show you. Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, and if anyone wants to contact you, Sam, they can contact you how?
So I've got a Facebook page or Instagram. So my actual business is Samantha Soul Healing, but then I also share a business with another girl, and we've called that the House of Soul Healing. So Facebook. Yeah, or I've got a website as well.
House of Soul Healing. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks so much, Simon. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
See you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.